Kindergarten Dolphins. I hope everyone's feeling extra cozy today. We're going to work on some math now. Today we are beginning a new part of our measurement unit, and it's going to be all about something called volume and capacity. Now when we talk about volume and capacity, we're thinking about using items like cups or jugs to hold something, and we're going to be measuring how much they can hold. When we talked about height, we talked about how tall something was, and when we talked about length, we talked about how long something was. When we talked about weight, we talked about how heavy something was. Now when we talk about volume, we're thinking about how much something can hold. What can we put inside of it to make it full? So let's go over our objective, and then I'll tell you why our materials part is empty. So I'll start and you repeat. Objective is what we are going to learn. Today our objective says, I can compare, remember that means look at the differences, capacity of different objects. Now, what does capacity mean again? We're going to go over it in our definitions. We're going to go over what capacity means in our vocabulary again. I know I just said it, but we'll keep talking about it. Now, the reason that our materials part is empty is because you're going to need a couple different things here, and I want to give you some examples about what you might need. Today, we're going to be filling different items and talking about what it looks like when they are full. So, you could use things like little measuring cups. You could use actual cups. You could use jugs, or you could use little things to pour. It's up to you, but you're going to have to use a couple different items and compare them. I'm going to be using rice to fill my items up. You can use something like rice or beans, or you can use coins, or you can use water. You can use different things like cubes or Legos. Whatever you have that is available to you that a grown-up says is okay to use and to pour into your items. If you are doing something like rice, I would put some in a separate bag and keep it for the week. We're going to be doing a lot of capacity and volume measurement where we're pouring in different materials. So I would put some in a little separate bag to use for the week. Another thing you could use is dry beans, and you could do the same thing, put it in a separate bag. Or you could use water. If you're using water, make sure that you set aside a cup to use in your different materials, and then also be somewhere where you can safely pour it, like at a sink, okay? So that's what we need to know. Now let's start with going over our new vocabulary again. So remember the word compare, that's not new. We've talked about that word a lot over these last few units. And it means to look at the differences between two or more things. So we are looking at the difference between when we fill something up and how much it can hold. And that's where we come to our word capacity. Capacity means how much an object can hold of something. How much can an object hold? So I'm going to give you a demonstration right now. I'm going to begin by pouring some rice into my little measuring cup here. So I'm going to pour it in until it is full. Now, is my cup full? No, it's not. How do you know that it's not full? What does it mean to be full? It means we need to go all the way to the top. So let me try again. Now I filled my cup all the way to the top, so it is at capacity. It is all the way full. If I pour this amount into this cup, do you think that it's going to be all the way full? If I take what is in my little cup here and pour it into my medium-sized cup, do you think that it's going to fill it all the way to the top? Let's find out. Nope, it didn't. So what do you think that means? Which item has a larger capacity? Little teapot pourer here or my measuring cup? Which one has a bigger capacity? one because I can fill this with more rice. To fill it to the top, I would need to put more rice inside of it. But if I take this amount and pour it back into here, what do you think will happen? It's gonna fill right back to the top. So let's see. It is back at capacity when I poured it from here into my little measuring cup. So when we have a container that is larger, a container is something that can hold something that is larger, it's going to have a bigger capacity. That number is going to be larger of the amount that we can put in. There is a lot of rice in here, probably like hundreds of grains of rice. And it fills this measuring cup. But it is not filling to capacity this measuring container. So we're going to look at some examples now and compare the different capacities of items. So based on what we just saw with our rice, which one of these containers would have a bigger capacity? Which one would have a bigger capacity? Which could we put more of something into? It would be our bigger measuring cup here. This one could hold more rice or water or whatever we're pouring into it than our little one. Now we have two different objects. We have a box and a recycling bin. Which one has a bigger capacity? It would be the recycling bin. We could put more of something into this big recycling bin than we could into the box. To fill the box, we would need less. Now we have a wooden stirring spoon and a small metal spoon. Which one has a bigger capacity? Which one could we put more into? The big wooden spoon, that could hold more. All right, I think we know what we're doing now. We're going to talk about what you're going to try at home with your objects and pouring. Okay, so today you're going to see this sheet on Class Dojo. It says, I found that this container held the most rice. And remember, you can use rice like I was using, or you can use water or beans or toys, but it has to be the same kind of something. Like I couldn't use pencils and blocks and scissors. We want to use all the same item to fill. So if you're going to use Legos as your item to pour into something, make it all Legos. If you're going to use water, make it all water. If you're using rice, make it all rice. Does that make sense? We just want the same item being used. Now it says, I found that this container had the biggest capacity. And then it's blank because you're going to draw what you found had the biggest capacity. Now when I was comparing these two items, this one had a bigger capacity. But I have an even bigger jug here, and it can hold even more rice. I would have to pour like my whole bag of rice, let's see, into this one. So I'm gonna pour. It's still going. And it's not even full yet. I poured all my rice in here and it's still not even full, so I would have to pour more rice. This definitely has the biggest capacity out of all the items that I collected. Now if I tried to pour this amount here, should we see what happens? I'm going to pour into my little one. If I keep going, it's almost full now. What's going to happen? It's going to start overflowing. Look, my rice is starting to fall out because it's already full. So this container can hold much more rice than this container. It has a larger capacity. This one has a smaller capacity. So I'm going to draw a picture of my biggest container, the one that has the largest capacity. So I'm just going to draw what it looks like here. It's kind of a cylinder shape. It's round at the top, and then it has a handle here. And it has a little part for pouring. And then it says, I found that this container held the least rice. It has the smallest capacity. So now I'm going to draw what my little container looks like. So just a little one. So So that's the difference between my containers. I drew my container with the biggest capacity and the smallest capacity. Now you could probably find something even smaller than this. If you tried a spoon or if you tried a little egg cup, those might even have a smaller capacity than what I found. And you could probably find something with a bigger capacity, like a big pot or bowl. They might hold more than I even was able to hold in my container. So that's going to be your job for today. Explore around your house and see what you can find that would hold the most of something and the least of something, and then draw what you found. All right, kindergartners, good luck, and I can't wait to see what you find. I'll check in with you later. Bye!